Good morning, students. Today we are looking at a new topic, and this will actually take us all the way through to the test. But there are a few different ways we're going to do it. So today we're going to start with the easy one, and then we'll learn the next few steps in the next coming days. Please make sure that you have written down your test date and that you are studying, not waiting until the last minute. All right, so on this worksheet, this one's going to fold in like this, okay? And this is talking about estimating percents. So the school store was open at lunchtime. One of the 304 students on lunch, 47% brought dry erase markers. About how many students bought dry erase markers? So today, most of our problems are going to be an estimate. They're going to be about how much. We are also going to do it looking for the exact number because it's done the same way. Okay, so what we are thinking is, okay, I have 304 students, but we could probably round that to 300 to make it a little bit easier. Okay, remember, estimation is about making it so that you don't need pencil and paper. And then they tell us 47%. Well, 47% is pretty much 50%, right? So 47%, let's use our 50% since it's a little bit easier. And 304, let's use our 300 since that's easier. What does of mean? Who remembers? Good. Multiplication. Now, we want 50% of 300, or we want half of 300. So 1/2 of 300 is, good, 150. Okay? Something that's very easy and you've done before. It's not a problem. Okay? That's what we're going to be doing today. Okay? This will be on the test, and it is very similar for the different steps we're going to be adding in later this week. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to look at the guided practice area. But before we do that, let's come up here because you can use either decimals, percents, or fractions as you do these problems. We know 10%, percent is per 100, so 10 over 100. But if we take 10 over 100, we can reduce that to 1 over 10. Okay, let's look at the next one. I have my whiteboard here so we can look at this. So 20 over 100, okay, so 20% we know means to put it over 100%, and then we can reduce this. So we could go ahead and get rid of those zeros. And then we could divide by 2, okay? And that would give us 1 over 5. So our benchmark percent, we could use 1/5, okay? 25% is one you should know. Again, we're gonna do 25 over 100. Whenever we have the quarters, 25, 50, 75, we can always divide by 25. And that reduces down to 1/4. So our benchmark percent is going to be 1/4. Okay? Alrighty, so let's continue that. You should be able to work these out. These are ones that you probably want to actually memorize as they come up quite often. So for instance, this one, 33 1/3%, okay, is kind of rather yucky, right? But I know that this would be 0.33. And that 3 is going to keep repeating, okay? Anybody remember what fraction that was? We've had this one before. It's in your composition book. And that is 1/3. Okay. 50%. We just looked at this one on the other side. If you have 50% complete, you have 1/2. Again, 66 2/3%. If you remember, or if you look back in your composition book, we were ordering fractions, I believe, at this time. It's 0.66, and the 6 keeps repeating, and that is 2/3. And lastly, 75%, 75 over 100. But again, 25, 50, 75, you can divide by 25. And we get 3/4. Okay, and that is this one. Okay. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this guided practice. Once we finish this, you're going to work on the independent practice, and I will put the answers up on the slide so you can check those. So we're going to start by estimating this right now. So 32%, we could really say it's 1/3, right? Okay, so we could say 1/3 of 243. Well, this is just multiplying fractions. We can add a 1 under the 243. Okay, I'm going to put my workspace here beside. So 1/3 of 243 over 1. Okay, and 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 plus 3 is 9. So the digits here add up to 9, so I know 3 goes into 243. Okay, so you could either work it out before or now. So 3 goes into 243. 3 times 8 is 24. We bring down the 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. And everything is done. Okay, so this equals 81. Okay, so 1/3 of 243 is 81. Now, this is an estimate. It is only an estimate. Okay. When we do it for real, though, it's actually the same exact thing, exactly like it says. But this time, let's try it for real. And let's do 32%, but we're going to turn that to a decimal. So 0.32, because percent is big and decimal is small. So we're going to move our decimal 2 times to make it smaller. So 32% of, we're still going to multiply, 243. Okay, so let's go ahead and work that. Let me find some space here. So we're taking, remember, we want to put the one that has the most digits on the top, okay, because it'll work out much better. So let's start with the 243 on top times the 32 hundredths, the 0.32. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, that's our first partial product. Our 2 is done. Face that smiles back. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry our 1. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So we have 6. 8 plus 9 is 17. 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7, and another 7. This is decimal multiplication, so we should remember to use our wall. There are 2 decimal spots here, so there should be 2 in our answer, so we come in from the wall, and our decimal goes right there. So 77.76. So let's come and put that on here. So 77 and 76 hundredths. And that's really, really close to 81, isn't it? Okay. So you can turn it into a fraction if it's an exact fraction. Today we're doing estimating, but when you are doing this for real, if you can use the fraction form or the decimal form. Just make sure you pay attention whether you're supposed to have the estimate or for this one, the actual. Okay, let's try number 2. Okay, so if we look at number 2, what is the benchmark fraction that would be close to 24%? Well, that would be our 1/4, right? So 1/4, again, of multiplication, 837. Okay, so the estimate would be 1/4 times 837, put our 1 under there. So 837 over 4. All right, here we go. Let's figure this one out. So 4 goes into 837 how many times? 4 goes into 8 2 times, and that's 0. And we're going to bring down the 3. Does 4 go into 3? No, so as soon as you say no, put the 0 up there. And now bring down the 7. 4 goes into 37 how many times? Good, 9 times, which is 36. And 1 left over, so we can just finish it as 1/4. Or if you like to go on and use the decimal, 0.25, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here is our answer. This is an estimate, 209 1/4. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our actual. So percent, our decimal is here, so we're going to move it 1 2 times, and we get 0.24 times that 837. So let's figure that out now. So let's come over to our scratch work. We have 0.24, 24 hundredths, times 837. Okay. We're going to put the bigger one, the one that has more digits, on top. So the 24 hundredths is going to go underneath. 7 times 4 is 28, carry your 2. 3 times 4 is 12. Oops, 12 plus 2 is 14, carry our 1. And 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. So that's our first partial. We're done with the 4. Face that smiles back. 2 times 7 is 14, carry your 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And 2 times 8 is 16. We add that together and we get 8, 8, 10. 3 plus 6 is 9 plus 1. That's another 10. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, we have 1, 2 decimal spots. So our answer will also have 2 decimal spots. So our answer is 288 hundredths. So 288 hundredths. Okay, so a little bit farther away, this is our actual answer. Okay, now what I want you to do next is I want you on numbers 3 and 4 to look for the actual answer. Okay, on our test we will not need to estimate, so let's go ahead and go directly to the answer. So we're going to need to set this up not as a percent but as the decimal, so we move the decimal 2 times. So we have 0.77 of 78. Okay, go ahead and solve that. And we'll have an answer here in just a minute. If you are doing good on this, go ahead on to the next one. If not, work on the multiplication and we'll look at this in just a minute. Okay, everybody have an answer now? All right, so you should be coming up with an answer of 60.6 0.06, 60 and 600ths. Okay, and again, that was the actual. Okay, all right, so now I would like you to work on number 4, and we'll check the answer in just a minute. If you are good with that, please go on and finish the guided practice. We'll check those answers in just a second. All right, so on number 4, you should have 18 and 3300ths. Please be careful on 5 and 6. Percent is per 100, so we're going to be going from percent to decimal. So we are dividing by 100 or moving the decimal 2 times, which gives us 0.08 of 397. Okay, so just be careful of that on both of these. Okay, so you should be getting an answer for both these. Okay. And the last one, and again, these were actual answers, because you will not need to do an estimate on the test. Okay, on this last one, they tell us 10%, so 0.10 of 80 is 8, okay? Then they want to know what would be 5% of 80. Okay, any ideas? And hopefully you're telling me it would be 4 because 5% is half of 10%. So 5% is half of 10%. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now, if there is still time, is I want you to come over here to the independent practice side. I do not want you to find the estimate, so go ahead and cross that out. I want you to find the actual percent of each number. Okay, so go ahead and work through those. I will have those answers on the slide in just a minute so that you can check those. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Have a great day, and make sure that you have written down your homework and the test date.